Asaph has pressed God on the duration of his anger and has redirected his attention toward the nations that devoured Jacob. Now he turns to the matter of Israel's own guilt. He does not avoid it, but walks straight toward it. O remember not against us former iniquities. Let thy tender mercies speedily prevent us, for we are brought very low. Psalm 79, verse 8. For God to remember iniquity is for God to hold it on record and act against it. Asaph asks God to do the opposite, not to remember it, to refuse to call up the accumulated sins of previous generations against the present survivors. The phrase former iniquities reaches back through Israel's history: the golden calf, the murmuring in the wilderness, the Baal worship, and the high places under every green tree. These are not forgotten offenses. They are the documented record of a people who broke the covenant with their God. Asaph does not claim Israel is innocent. He asks for mercy rather than justice. The request is grounded in God's character, not Israel's record. He calls upon God's tender mercies, the deep compassion of a parent toward a child. Asaph asks that these mercies move first, arriving before the consequences of sin complete their work. The word prevent carries the meaning of going before, arriving ahead of something else. Asaph prays that God's tender mercies run ahead of the destruction and reach Israel before the final blow falls. The reason Asaph gives is plain and without argument. We are brought very low. Jerusalem is rubble, the temple is defiled, and the dead lie unburied. Israel has nothing left to offer God as grounds for mercy except their own desperate condition. This is the prayer of a man who has run out of everything except the character of God. Help us, O God of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us, and purge away our sins, for thy name's sake. Psalm 79, verse 9. Asaph shifts from asking God to withhold judgment to asking him to act in deliverance. The appeal moves on two tracks running together. First is Israel's need, help, deliverance, and the purging of sins. The second is God's own name and glory. Asaph does not separate these. He binds Israel's deliverance to God's reputation among the nations. If God abandons his covenant people, what does that say about the God who made the covenant? The phrase God of our salvation is a declaration of identity. Asaph addresses God as the one whose essential nature is to save. He then asks God to act in a way that matches who he is. The purging of sins is not a secondary request. Asaph understands that Israel's condition is not political or military. The devastation has a spiritual root, and no amount of military rescue addresses it. Asaph asks God to deal with the cause, not only the consequences. Wherefore should the heathen say, "Where is their God?" Let him be known among the heathen in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants which is shed. Psalm 79, verse 10. Asaph returns to the nations, but now the argument carries an unfamiliar edge. The heathen are asking a theological question. Where is their God? The question is not curiosity, but mockery. It is the nations declaring through the ruins of Jerusalem that Israel's God has failed, that he cannot protect his own people, that his name means nothing against the armies of Babylon. Asaph turns this mockery into a petition. Let God answer the question. Let him be known among the heathen, not through Israel's explanation, but through God's own visible act of vengeance for the blood of his servants poured out in the streets of Jerusalem.